going to go over the mesh tools in the modeling toolkit, specifically combine, separate, and smooth. I'm going to have a separate tutorial for booleans. Combining a model can be really helpful. It will take your one mesh and turn it into two, but there's some things you really have to know. At its most basic, if you have two or more objects, you can select them and hit combine, and it is now going to be treated as one object. If I double click on this cube, I will not select the other cube because there are no faces or vertices that are connected between them. And if I hit separate, they will be separated back into their original components, and Maya will remember what their original components are because there's nothing connecting them together. This tool can be really helpful when you're modeling, especially if you're modeling half of your mesh and you want to duplicate it, flip it, and then combine it to have the other half. So I'm going to duplicate my mesh, come into my attribute editor, and scale it -1 on the x-axis. And I'm going to freeze my transformations. You never want to have a negative in your scale. And then I'm going to select both of these models and hit combine. Now it looks like it is combined into one. However, if I double click on it, you can see I'm still only selecting half of the mesh. And that's because even though we combined it, we did not merge the vertices together. I'm going to go to vertex mode. Going to select everything. You can select just the center edge if you want, but it's a little bit trickier to do that. And I'm going to do a mesh combine. And I'm going to go to shift right click, or I'm sorry, a merge vertices. We already did the combine. So edit mesh merge vertices, or shift right click merge vertices. And I don't want to go to merge to center. That will merge everything into the center point. I'm going to go to merge vertices and the options box. And I have it set it relatively low. Sometimes I do go a little bit lower, and then hit apply. And now if we go into face mode, you can see the entire mesh is selected because the center vertices have been merged together. I set this as a really low number because it's going to look 0.001 units for another vertex to merge. And since I was very careful to flip my model on the center axis, I know that these vertices were right on top of each other. If we undo that merge, there we go, we can check our vertex count, and I have 6,046 vertices selected. And after I do my edit mesh and merge, you can see I have 5,866 because those center ones were merged together. I can no longer do a separate because I did a mesh combine and a merge vertices. If I did not merge the vertices, I could hit separate and I would have the original two meshes again. The next one is smooth, and smooth is a very helpful tool. However, it will increase your poly count by a lot. And when I hit it, it will put a smooth algorithm on my mesh, and it will be all around much denser with much smoother corners. You can find your poly smooth in your attribute editor. It will be called poly smooth face 1 if it was your first one, and you have your divisions. If you bring it back to 0, you're at the original subdivision level, and if you turn it up, you'll have more and more polygons. I generally do a delete history before I put a smooth on my mesh. That way I'll have a very clean attribute editor, and when I go to smooth, it will be the only thing on my, or the only command that is on my attribute editor list.